Hello, and welcome to the Live Past Crazy Show. Your host is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with her? Yanmitra appreciates you taking the time out to listen to the podcast, and it is her sincere hope that what we share is something that you can use to help you and someone you know live past crazy.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show, where we are having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. My name is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? Hope you guys are ready to get this week started. I know I am. I hope you had a great weekend. Please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. If your friends and family do not have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel where they can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. What's going to tell you guys? I forgot it was going to be something. Can't remember what it was. So welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. I hope you had a good weekend. I did. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting sister locks. So I did mini twist in my hair. It took like about 6 hours. Thinking about sister locks. I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of commitment. Am I ready to commit to sister locks? But they be looking so pretty. They be looking so good on my sisters. And I'm like, I want sister locks. And then I saw that sister lock price. Ooh, it was an investment. But I'm thinking about sister locks. What y'all think? How y'all think they would look on me? So I'm going to try it and see. All right, let's get started with the show this morning. Oh, don't forget tonight. Good morning, Cree. Do you have sister locks? Or you just have dreads? So I'm thinking about getting some. So I don't know. Tonight I will be live on the Michelle G Show. So I will try to go live from my Facebook page. If not, I will share it from hers. She does have a TV show. So I'll be traveling to meet her, but she also broadcasted live on Facebook as well. So if you missed part 1 of that interview, I will have the link for that. So this will be part 2. I don't know. See, I did mini twist myself this weekend, but I like combing and brushing and, doing, I don't know. I'm going to make a consultation appointment. So, but that's $1,500. That's 1,500.00 for some sister locks, and her consultation fee is like $50. So, we'll see. All right. So don't forget to catch me on the Michelle G Show, and March the 13th and 14th, I will be in Orangeburg, South Carolina, at the Leadership Conference. So make sure that you come for that. So, and then you can find the tickets on my page as well. All right, so let's get right into the quote of the day. Let me pull it up. Y'all love this quote. Freeing yourself was one thing. Claiming ownership of that freed self was another. Toni Morrison. Freeing yourself was one thing. Claiming ownership of that free self was another. And that is by Toni Morrison. Y'all know I love the Harlem Renaissance. But Toni was not a part. Really? Girl, maybe. See, if it was 600, maybe I could work with that. She was 15. And then it's over 2 days. I don't know. So I'm trying to figure that out. I love Toni Morrison. I love Alice Walker. Y'all, I'm a nerd, so I love. And how about I bought a book this weekend and left it at the Girl Scout booth on yesterday? Tore up. My feelings is all the way hurt. So the quote today comes from Toni Morrison. Freeing yourself was one thing. Claiming ownership of that freed self is another thing. Let me get Instagram sitting up straight because they're crooked. And I love that quote because wow, hers is like $130 a month for the wash. I think the wash and tightening. So I'm thinking about it. Freeing yourself is one thing. Claiming ownership of that free self was another. Toni Morrison. This made sense to me when I read it yesterday, because we can say we are living past crazy. We can say that we're free from all things. That's one thing. But until we claim ownership of that freedom, until you be like, hell yeah, I'm free of this, and what I'm not fixing to do is go back to this, until you claim your free self, you're not truly free. Freeing yourself was one thing. Claiming ownership of that freed self is another. And that is by Toni Morrison, period. And that goes back to on Fridays. We talked about on Friday, whose fault is it? Recognizing that it may be you. Apologize to yourself. Forgive yourself. Accept that closure, right? Release those emotions. Because if you don't release, you're always going to wonder. You're always going to ask yourself why. And it's always going to hurt, which is going to create more anger and frustration and fear for you, which is not going to leave you open to receive anything else. So on Friday, I dared y'all to be open-minded to receive the blessings of the current moment. Not yesterday's thoughts, hurts, or feelings, but the current moment of release, which goes right into freeing yourself was one thing. Claiming ownership of that free self is another. So on this Fearless Monday, we're talking about claiming ownership of ourselves. Because I think as women, like we can talk a good talk. You know, we can talk a good talk. Like, I wish somebody would, and I am free. I'm not with him no more. I'm not thinking about it. But you know, in the back of your mind, when you sleep or when you write, when you wake up, y'all know what I'm talking about. That's when you are true with yourself right there. That's when you realize the hurt, the pain, the anger, and the frustration where you're not really free. And so we're going to talk about claiming ownership of yourself. So one of the things you got to do when you're claiming ownership of yourself is you got to receive it. Number one, you got to receive you. Because for so long you may have been receiving other people's adaptation of who you are and not really receiving who you are. So you got to receive yourself, number one. Then we're going to go into defining who you want to be and what that looks like for you. Because defining who you are, that's the fun. It's the scary fun part. Like, we're getting over hurt, we're getting over the fear, we're getting over things, but now you're telling me I got to figure out what it is I want to do. Please look at that as an exciting part. Like, if there's any part of you you've always wanted to work on, now is the time to do that. And the third thing is we're developing new rules to the new you. So as we're defining ourselves, we're developing new rules to the new you. You don't get the same access to JoJo that you did back in the day. People, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. There's nothing wrong with saying that to people and meaning it. There's nothing wrong with that. Period. New rules to the new you. There's parts of me that have grown so much that even if I wanted you to be there with me and have access to me, it would take so much for me to explain it to you that I'd be backpedaling myself. So I can't. Oh, thank you, Miss Alicia. Good morning. That's why some people, no matter how hell-bent we are on them growing with us, they simply cannot. And then we can't apologize for that because we got the new rules to new you. Please understand that does not mean that you're mean, rude, ugly, and nasty to anybody. What we are saying is, from this point, I cannot go and you cannot come because we are establishing our boundaries. So the new rules to the new you. And then once we receive, once we're receiving our freed self, we're defining who we are. We have the new rules to the new you. Now you've got to rest in it. You got to rest in it. You got to rest in it. And then you got to walk in it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts to that. You got to rest in it and you got to walk in it. Resting in it means that I am finally free of this thing. And then I call it grounding. Please look up grounding if you never heard of it. If you're a country girl, you did this and you didn't know why you did it. When you walk outside barefoot and put your feet in the grass, that is called grounding. That's you reconnecting to Mother Earth. But when you say I'm freeing myself and I accept myself and we're resting in it, we are grounding ourselves into that statement. I want you to stand flat-footed and with all the courage and energy you can muster and say, I am free of this thing. I release it, because it's never, we're not losing anything. We're releasing it. I release this thing and I am resting in the freeness of myself. That, my sister, is a wonderful feeling. And then the last thing you got to do is walk in it. You got to walk in that free self with your head held high. My friend Angeline, and I have not seen Angeline but maybe once since I left IBM. And I left IBM, good Lord, 13 years ago. And she is from Nigeria. And we were walking to the cafeteria one day and she said, why, who told you to hold your head down? I said, what? She said, every time you walk somewhere, you hold your head down. Now, I was fresh out of an abusive marriage. She was like, and she took my face and held it up. She said, never hold your head down. Always hold your head up. And I was like, oh, okay. And from that day forward, 13 years ago, I never hold my head down when I walk. If I do, I'm looking at something. But I hold my head up. Because she was like, who told you that? And she was really mad. She was like, who told you that? You don't hold your head down. So now you got to walk in. And we're not holding our head down because we have freed ourselves and we're claiming ownership of it. We're not holding our head in shame. No, we are holding our head up with our chest out and our shoulders back. And we're grounded in the statement that freeing myself was one thing. Claiming ownership of my free self is another. Toni Morrison. Now we're claiming ownership of it. We are claiming ownership of all things. I'm not playing. It can't be negotiated. I can't, what's the word? I can't downplay my growth for you. Because sometimes our growth make other people feel uncomfortable because they know how old JoJo used to be. They don't know about new JoJo, so they're not quite sure how to interact with me. Okay. It's not my job to show you that. I grew, and let's not apologize for that. We are growing, and it is up to them. Listen, we're asking for all things up here. We're not asking them for here and accepting them here. They saw your growth process, and it was up to them to join you or not to join you, to watch or to grow with you. So we can't apologize for that. Claiming ownership of yourself. First, you got to receive that you are free of that thing. Let's not keep reliving it. We are getting better. We're not apologizing for getting better. That's our word for 2020. We're getting better. Every single day, I'm better today than I was yesterday. I don't care if it's one iota of a thought that I'm different. I'm different than I was yesterday. I'm not apologizing for getting better. We're going to receive our free self. We're going to define ourselves and figure out who it is that we want to be. And that is the exciting part. Then we're going to establish those new rules to the new you. What does that look like for you? What do those new rules look like and how do you work that out? And then we're going to rest in it and then we're going to walk in it. And I want you to stay in that rest period for a minute because that rest period is where because you've done a lot of work. You received it. You defined yourself. You got new rules. But resting in it, you got to get comfortable with it yourself before you start explaining it to other people. Because they're going to ask you questions like, JoJo, like for real, you changed a little bit. I can't quite. Oh, well, I grew overnight. Hello, somebody. Last Sunday, please go back and watch how I stood up for myself. I grew overnight. And so the next day, people say, hey, you okay? You're not the same. I literally grew overnight. And it's okay. Rest in it for a minute. Rest in it. Fill it out. and spread your wings. You have now done the work to be free of whatever it was that had you bound. Rest in it. Be excited about it. Be happy that you're no longer tied to it. And then, my sister, you can walk in it. Then we're going to walk in it because we've grounded ourselves. We have felt all the words. We have felt them pour over us from our head down to our toes. And we have received all of the good things that it is to be us. Now I can walk in it. Now you can walk in it with your head up and your shoulders back. Because now it's non-negotiable. You've done the work, okay? You've done all the gangster stuff. You did all the inner work. You've done all the things so that now you can walk in it. And it's not an option. It's not an option. So on this wonderful Monday morning, I hope you guys had a great weekend. The quote of the day, freeing yourself was one thing. Claiming ownership of that freed self is another. That's by Toni Morrison, one of my favorite authors. Blue's Eyes is one of my favorite. Well, she has a lot of my favorite books. And she's a poet as well. So go check out some Toni Morrison literature today. But the quote comes from Toni Morrison today. That really spoke to me because a lot of us say we free with our lips, but we're not free by thought, word, and deed. Meaning, I can say I'm free, but I ain't acting like it. Like we can leave a relationship that has caused chaos and crazy in your life, right? We can leave that, but yet you carry the traits of it with you throughout other relationships, other friendships into your new life. And we wonder why our chaos has continued when we left chaos. That's because you packed it up and brought it with you. Because when you end a thing, good morning, Sandra. How my friend doing? Amen. Loving and accepting yourself. Because when we end a thing, whatever that thing is, if we end a thing that has hurt us, whether it's a friendship, relationship, whatever it is, it got to be a cutoff. Thank you, Keep. Good morning, Keeper. Good morning. Keeper, there was something I was going to tell you. I can't remember. Oh, Keeper's picking up my next tattoo. That's what I want to remind you. Keeper, don't forget me. You have done the work. You have stood up for yourself to say, from this point on, I'm no longer engaging in this type of crazy. So now there's got to be a cutoff point where you cut yourself off from it. Good morning, Kim. I'm thinking about it, Kim. My friend Kim, we're also on Instagram now. So if your friends and family don't have Facebook, they can come to Instagram, or you can send them to the YouTube channel. Kim was like, no more tattoos. I'm thinking about one more. I don't know where I want it. So that's the hold up. Because I don't want any more like here. So I don't know. So once we cut ourselves off from the thing, right? We can't package it up and take it with us. We can't do that. Because if you do that, what was the purpose of leaving the thing? So freeing ourselves, you got to, from that point that you said, I'm no longer engaging in this thing, right? I'm cutting ties from it. Right there is where we start to claim ownership of ourselves. Receive it, define you, the new rules to the new you, rest in it and walk in it. 5 steps of claiming ownership. And the new rules to the new you is a whole class that I have where we go through the steps of developing new rules to the new you. Define you, receive you, like we talked about on Friday, accepting that closure. And I dare you just for today to receive the blessings of the current moment. That is in the cutting off phase. That is stepping into the freed stage. That is stepping into, from this point I cannot go and you cannot come stage. And let me tell you what is freeing, sister. Freeing is saying that and meaning it. Saying it and meaning it and standing flat-footed and saying with, and here's, when I can say a thing without my emotion attached to the thing. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that I ain't hurting. I ain't saying that I don't have no feelings. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying I have consciously made a decision in my mind that I am free from this thing. And I'm claiming ownership of what I'm free from. So I can only deal in facts from this day forward. And the facts is I can't come. I can't go and you can't come. Those are the facts. And facts are non-negotiable. Facts don't go away. So I can say it. When I know I can say it without the emotion of the thing, I know I'm in the receiving mode of what I freed myself of. I know now I have rested in it, and now I'm willing to walk in it. Because if you're not ready to receive it and define yourself and do the new rules and rest in it, you're not going to be able to walk it out for very long. Because when you say it and you don't mean it, like for real, because you can be like this, when it comes time to walk it out, you're not going to be, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to walk it out. But when I get to the point where I can say without the emotion, I have rested in it. And I've given myself, I told you, give yourself time to rest in it before you walk it out. I have rested in that thought. Like Sunday before last, it was a 5-hour process. I rested in it for a minute. I felt the feelings, which is part of what we talked about on Friday. I dare you just for today to open your mind and receive the blessings of the current moment, not yesterday's thoughts, hurts, and feelings, but this current moment of release. I refuse to keep reliving the same thing if I have freed myself of it. Freeing yourself was one thing. Claiming ownership of that free self was another, and that is by Toni Morrison, a wonderful writer and poet, one of my favorites. So claiming ownership of yourself today. 5 steps, y'all. Please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. And if your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel where they can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. So 5 things to claiming ownership of yourself. Receive it, define you, the new rules to the new you. And I think the last 2 are essential. Rest in it and walk in it. That resting period should be done alone. That resting period should be more. When you're new to this, it should be more than a day. It should be, a good little piece of time where you're starting to feel yourself. Like, you're starting to feel who you really are. Like, damn, I'm the bomb. JoJo, you got this, girl. You bad, girl. You smart. You look good. You feel good. You are good. You got a pretty smile. And that resting phase is where you start to feel yourself. And baby, sometimes you got to feel yourself because ain't nobody else going to do it. And when you are comfortable in that rest phase, like JoJo, you have overcome that thing, girl. How does that feel, girl? It feels so good. Let them shoulders go. Let that stress go. Now, once you have rested in that for a while and you've gotten comfortable with wearing the newness of it, then you can walk in it. Every day you want to practice walking in it, yeah. But rest in it for a minute. Understand it, what it means for you, where you're going to take it, what you're going to do with it. Because you can rest in it and you can make all these declarations and then you don't know what to do with it. But JoJo, I said I wanted to be free and I freed myself and I did all the things. I took ownership. I received it. Okay, but now what are you going to do with the thing? Did you do all of that to stay in the same place? Because we can't do that and stay in the same place. You realize those two can't go together. Like I can't do all this growth process. I can't receive it and walk in it and be a new me and stay in the same place. It may work for a little bit, but it ain't going to work for long. Because eventually, you're going to immediately outgrow that space. That I can promise you. And if you don't outgrow that space, everything is going to start irritating you, aggravating you. And you ain't going to have no idea why when somebody open their mouth, you instantly irritated. Why they look at you crooked and you want to fight. Why they lay a piece of paper down and you just got to go off. Why the simplest of things irritate the devil out of you. Don't drink my drink. It ain't yours. Don't do that. But you 38 hot. Claim ownership of yourself. Freeing yourself was one thing. Claiming ownership of it is another. Once you have done all the work, once you have done the thing, sister, you can't stay in the same place. It's going to require of movement because you have grown through it, past it. So it's going to require a separation of space. Now you can try like hell to stay, okay? You can try like hell to stay. But my question then becomes, why did you do all the work to stay in the very thing that you worked hard to get out of? So now we're back to decorating our cage of crazy. Now we're back to praying, Lord, make a way, make it better. And I'm leaving it at the altar, Father. But as soon as you walk out the church door, you walk back in to pick up the very thing you said you laid down. So now it's just right back with you. I'm not saying that this is an easy decision. I'm saying that you have to know that you're worth the decision. You are worth the decision that you're going to make for yourself. If you don't think you're worth the decision, because sometimes we take into account our mom and them, our sister and them, the kids, our best friend, the cat down the road, the dog up the street. We take into account everybody when it comes to making a decision, right? But when are we going to take into account us when we make a decision? You're worthy to make that decision. You can. You just got to want to. See, I can complain all day. I can complain about the thing all day. But until I'm ready to make the decision, there ain't no need me complaining. Because I'm willingly accepting my environment. You're one decision away from a totally different life. One. I don't know who quote that is, but we used it one morning. So I don't want you to do all the work and stay the same. There's got to be a separation. That's what the quote means. Freeing yourself was one thing, meaning you've done all the work, but you haven't claimed ownership of the freed self. You haven't claimed ownership of who you said you wanted to be and what you said you wanted to do. You haven't done that part yet. So my question then becomes, are you really free? Or did you just do that just to be doing something? So claiming ownership of yourself, please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. Friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining the Fearless Morning Show. If this is your first time, I welcome you to the Fearless Morning Show family. I hope you enjoy it here. We're all about love, lights, and hugs over here. Thought of the day, claiming ownership of yourself. 5 things. We got to receive it. We got to define ourselves. We got to develop those new rules to the new you. New rules to the new us's. Okay? Rest in it and then walk in it. The last 2, 4, and 5 are the most important. You got to rest in it and you got to walk in it. You got to be okay with the new thing. And I think sometimes, y'all, that's the scary part of growth, okay? As I close out the show, that's the scary part of growth. I promise you. It's something new that you've never done before. And because you've never done it, you're afraid to do the thing. And you think that perhaps you could. And then you start thinking about everything else. And I think this was back in April, May of last year, we talked about this. You're focusing on what you're losing instead of what you're gaining. And so because you're focusing on what you're losing, if you make that decision, your eyes are never, not even for a moment, open to what you are gaining. Freedom and peace of mind are priceless, my sister. You may think, but Joe, I can hold on. Okay. With your holding on, I want you to understand that every day you eat a piece of yourself. Every day you negate the fact that you are important to you. Every day you downplay your greatness. Every single day you absolutely refuse to hold anybody else responsible for what they're doing in your life. And every day you're not holding yourself responsible for what's going on in your life. You're just accepting it. So you can't complain because, sister, you're accepting it every single day. So if you think you're just holding on and nobody's going to pay attention, oh, it's going to be, for the better. Oh, but people are paying attention. My kids paid attention every single day, whether I opened up my mouth or not. They saw every single day. Every day you make a decision. You not making one is you making one. And the fear that you feel right now is because you can see what you're losing, and you have not taken not one iota of a second to look at what you're gaining. And because it's something new that you can't understand, you'd rather stay in what you do understand. You'd rather deal with the comfort of crazy than the discipline of freedom. Claim ownership of yourself. You are worthy of that decision. You are worthy of that decision. You are worthy of that decision, sister. I know that, but until you know that, the conversation will never change. You are worthy of that decision. Period. Freeing yourself was one thing. Claiming ownership of it is another. You got to receive it, define you, develop the new rules to the new you, rest in it, and walk in it. So I hope this has helped somebody today, guys. I know it has truly helped me, period. Because sometimes what you have to do is put things into action. Talking about it. What's the quote? Don't talk about it, be about it. It does no good to talk about it. Because we've been talking for years. That's why don't nobody believe you when you say you changing. Oh, I'm moving. Don't nobody believe you. Oh, I'm leaving him. Don't nobody believe you. Oh, I'm going back to school. I'm doing this. Don't nobody believe you. Because see, you've talked for years. And your talk has gotten you where? Nowhere. Because you ain't done no action. Claim ownership of yourself. So I hope this has helped someone today, guys. If you know someone who needs to hear this message, please make sure you share, because I can't help my sister nor my brother without your help. So please make sure you share the show. I greatly appreciate it. And if your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. Don't forget, tonight I will be on at 5 p.m. live on Facebook for the Michelle G Show. So make sure you join me for that. March 13th and 14th and 15th. It might be the 12th. I don't have a calendar. But I will be in Orangeburg, South Carolina at the Leadership Conference. And I have something special for the people who are coming to that event. So please make sure you join me there. In April, I forgot where I'm going to be. I'll be in Tampa in April. So if you can't join me in South Carolina, maybe you can join me in Tampa in April. All right, guys, I hope you have an amazing... Oh, and I'll be in Curacao, which is right below Aruba in May. So now we can say international speaker. Check. Thank you. A to the man. So, guys, please make sure you share the show. I hope this has helped somebody today, guys. Freeing yourself was one thing. Claiming ownership of that free self is another. And that is by Toni Morrison. Please be peaceful. Hope you have an amazing day. And I'll see you here bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good one.
Thank you again for listening to the Live Past Crazy Show with Yonmitra Jojo. She is the only Live Past Crazy specialist, and she is glad you spent your time with her. If you would like to know more about why she knows crazy and about her journey, she invites you to check out her website, www.livepastcrazy.com, as well as follow her on social media. Yonmitra is her tag for IG, Twitter, and Facebook. JANMETRA. She also invites you to join her on the Fearless Morning Show, weekdays at 7:15 a.m. on Facebook Live. Again, you can find us on Facebook with the Fearless Morning Show page or by name. Remember, as a result of working with the only Live Past Crazy specialists, individuals are able to identify the crazy in their lives and develop a specific blueprint to begin to live past crazy. Do you know anybody who needs to live past crazy? Then send them over her way, because there is life after crazy. Be peaceful, period. And Yonmitra will see you guys on the next show.